You never know. You never know who's in the chat. So, gentlemen, I want to add this. This is the point where I think he sort of breaks down his sort of Christian vision as an ideology. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Let's go with this.
Important for the nation.
And so, so you don't, you're not a Christian nationalist, cultural nationalist. So describe to me the America that you want. What does it look like? What are the?
You mean by tomorrow?
Well,
let's say I was king tomorrow.
Well,
America has no king,
keen on this idea, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you're excited about. What I mean is, ultimately, you want to transform America into something that it used to be, or that you'd like it to be, or whatever. Let's not argue about that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's just say you want America to be a certain way. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. What does it look like once you've got to that destination? Once you've got to that perfect America, which represents your values as someone who's really interested in Christianity being the dominant force in society. What can you do? What you can? How is it different from what we have to do?
So while I would say that there's this is a bit of like hypothetical utopianism,
of course,
as long as you're granting me that this is a bit of hypothetical utopianism. So there, let's say I was King Wilson tomorrow. I'm King Andrew Wilson, and my decrees and edicts go out to all of the land. First thing, mass migration, that's gone immediately. Next thing is focusing on domestic birth rates and domestic birth policies and trying to move America back to a one-income family.
Interesting.
The best way to do that is to prioritize from the government level down that women do not defer their childbearing years for college, right? But rather you offer massive incentives to families for them to get married younger, right? Stay at home, have babies with their husband.
Interesting.
And if you contract them from the workforce, wages are going to necessarily skyrocket. The second you begin contracting women from the workforce, wages are going to shoot through the roof, especially if you're not filling those roles with migrants.
What are we thinking so far? What are we thinking so far?
I think he's completely full of shit. He's completely and totally full of shit.
Yeah?
100% full of shit. Yeah, he full of shit. There's absolutely nothing in there that he said that will make wages skyrocket or anything like that. Nothing. Yeah? And and as far as the migrant workers that he's talking about taking to work, let me tell you something about that. And I am American, just for the record. So I spent 45 of my years. I live in Romania now, but I did spend 45 of my working years there. So I'm very familiar with it. And it's like this. The migrants do not take the working jobs. They do not. They never have. They never will. They take the jobs that the Americans will not do. Why will they not do them? Because it's below them. They feel it's below them. It's not enough money for them. It's too hard work. Take your choice. Take your choice. But that's the jobs that the migrants do. And if you're talking about the immigrants that come legally and do things the right way, well, those are the educated ones that are getting visas specifically for the education, and they're getting granted citizenships for. So what he's saying is complete nonsense. It's just complete misogyny. It's misogyny at its finest. And put into a delicate spin.
Well, just to play devil's advocate for a second, he's trying to incentivize family creation.
Yeah,
would that be a negative to a society?
If you have a family, right? If you have a family now, let's take it from now, like he said. Let me use his words. If tomorrow I could decree to the land. Okay, if tomorrow you could decree to the land and you wanted to do this and you wanted to do that, how would you first be able to get that there? A man cannot take care of a family of one or two right now on his own. How would he have more kids? How could his wife stop working? How could they have a family of 3 or 4? How could they take care of them? Who's going to supplement them? The wages are not going to go up as he says. They're not. I think you're going to go ahead.
I was going to say, I think he might answer one or two of those questions.
Let's go for it.
Let's actually let it play out and see. Yeah, let's let it play out.
Very first policies that I would put in place. I'd ban porn. I'd ban gay marriage. I'd put in some kinds of laws which had dominion over the airwaves when it came to degeneracy, right? Meaning, I don't think you should turn on Fox or Channel 32 and see naked women. I don't think that that's good for the public. I don't think it's particularly useful. I would probably outlaw smartphones. Put age restrictions on smartphones. Probably till you were like 18 years old. There would be some pretty restrictive things that I would put in place, but there would also maximize. It would also maximize human ethical flourishing, right? The idea here is like, why do kids need to be looking at smartphones and training their brain towards smartphones? It's been terrible for them.
No, we just did an episode on it. Well, several actually.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. And is it important?
Okay, he's about halfway, but we're just going to answer that question.
I got my own point. Me and you could go back and forth all day. Let's hear from Matty or Milo.
Yeah.
Man, I don't agree with the guy. Let me just put it that way. I don't agree with the guy at all. And I think his thing about banning porn and all that other stuff, mind your own fucking business. You're talking about bringing in the communism shit, man. You ain't talking you ain't talking about building a better world, man. You're talking about building a world in your fucking lane, period. End of story. And you're wrong. You're wrong with half of what you're saying. With that, Milo, Matty, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Yeah, any takes there, gentlemen?
Milo?
To be honest, I think he has a point to be made there in everything he said. Like, for example, he is talking about America, right? So in America, how much do you get off of work when you have a baby as a woman?
Maternity.
How much do you get off?
None. Zero. None. Zero. You don't have any time. They might give you 1 or 2 weeks if you have a good company that's with you.
Okay.
If you're with a good company.
Already in these days, you need, in a family, you need 2 incomes. So you can be able to pay your utilities, your rent, and to have something in your belly, right? And to feed your children. So that's one of the big issues, in my opinion, why people stop making babies, because it's financial, it's impossible, or very hard. But if you take in consideration how things are going in Europe, for example, if a woman has a child, she gets 2 years off. Here in Germany, for example, you can get 2 years off of work, get a certain amount of money expended in those 2 years. Now, you can choose to have only 1 year off and take the whole amount of money compressed into 1 year. So you're not getting 1,000 euros a month. You get 2,000 euros a month because you decreased your time.
Okay.
So that helps the family start. But for example, like it's in America, you have a baby today and you have to go to work tomorrow. You need a nanny. You need somebody to look out for that baby. Yeah. So immediately, that's expenses that you already cannot afford.
Okay, but here's the thing. But what's the benefit? I don't understand where you're getting at with the benefit. Okay, so that helps the family grow, Milo. That helps the family grow. But where does that help America grow? Where does that help the American economy? Where does that help the people?
It helps. It helps because if you have one child per family, right?
Okay. Yeah.
20 years from now, you're gonna have one worker that's gonna produce for the state, right?
One from your family, but you'll have plenty of people that come over from all. This guy, I'm talking about this guy in particular, right? He says he's not talking national Christian policies. He's absolutely 100% is talking that. He wants it to be the national Christian America, period. He's talking about that, to be American. To be fair,
that was the question. To be fair, the guys asked him, if you had, benevolent power, what kind of Christian America would you want? So
exactly,
fair, he was asked that.
Exactly, and then he tried to say, he spin it. I think he said back there, it's not really national Christian. Not Christian. He's actually saying it's not really that. It's this, and this. But everything he's saying is that he's not allowing for the fact that there's 7 billion people out there. Out of those 7 billion people in the world, man, they can easily, for your family, you might only have that one worker. For your family, you might only have that 1 or 2 people, right? But they're going to live a decent life. And what's wrong with the other 7 billion people coming in legally, right? Probably. We're not getting into the legal debate and all that legal immigrant shit. We're not getting into all that. I'm talking about coming in there. For instance, Microsoft, Bill Gates, he took a lot of Romanians to build his company. He took this and that. He couldn't have done that with some of the intelligence that's happening. Nowhere in here is he talking about the schooling and the education. Nowhere in here is he talking about making them smarter. We're talking about taking the best of the best of the best around the world to help grow a country. Nowhere, just because you have 3 or 4 family members doesn't make the country better. It doesn't do it. I don't agree with him. It just, you have 3 or 4 more mouths to feed. You have 3 or 4 more people that might turn, like me. They might be like me and not do nothing.
They might turn out to be a guest on the upper room.
They might be.
What? Oh,
Out of-
the horror!
Out of
The
4
horror!
individuals, you might have a chance of one being a genius and changing everything, right?
You could have an Einstein.
Man, I'm just trying to say that there's plenty of people, smart people around the world. You don't need them all to be Americans and be your family. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying the guy is way off base. He wants to close the borders. He wants to do this. He wants only Americans to build